I grew up in the golden age of RPG games. My first real experience with RPG games came with the classic cult Sega Genesis hit Landstalker, but that gorgeous isometric game was more of an action RPG in the style of Legend of Zelda. Now there's something about a deep narrative-driven story presented in beautiful 16-bit pixel art that makes my heart melt. After conquering the Moogle and Chocobo-ridden worlds of Final Fantasy II and Final Fantasy III on the SNES, before ultimately discovering my favorite RPG of all time, Chrono Trigger. I remember paying very close attention to that heavily anticipated release of this game, courtesy of GamePro magazine, because back then we didn't have YouTube or the internet, we had paper.
I'm talking GamePro magazine! Yeah! You can subscribe by calling 1-800-238-1400. Dudes under 12, get your parents to call.
And I bought the game for $79.99 at Toys R Us. I'll never forget that because the game released so close to my birthday. The Chrono Trigger experience simply blew me away. The pixel art for this game was at its apex on the SNES, with character designs and artwork handled by the legendary Akira Toriyama of Dragon Ball fame. I remember getting lost in the cover art of this game repeatedly, like just looking at the box, especially on the ride home, just stifled by how a video game could just captivate like this. And that's just the box art. The soundtrack was iconic for its time, adding more and more soul to the game, as well as bringing characters to life with each of its symphonic suites. The story, with its lovable characters, grandiose adventure, and innovative back and forth time traversals that led to multiple different ending scenarios, was revolutionary for the time and hardly recaptured since. But one thing I particularly loved about Chrono Trigger was its battle system. Gone were the nightmarish random encounters of the past and attacking enemies from halfway across the screen, in favor of a cleaner, more intuitive combat system that was ready to punish you if you took too long in your battle decisions, and also introduced something really cool, which were tech attacks that were powerful and sometimes game-changing double team or triple team attacks, which definitely added a nifty layer of experimentation with the various party combinations you could use. Now I'm gushing over Chrono Trigger for a reason. It's because I've played a lot of RPGs, JRPGs, and I haven't ever encountered another game quite like Chrono Trigger. I know the term spiritual successor kind of gets tossed around out there rather loosely, and with that said, I haven't come across a game that has mirrored Chrono Trigger aesthetically or gameplay wise. That is until I came across Sea of Stars. Make no mistake, Sea of Stars is heavily influenced by Chrono Trigger, visually, musically, and systematically. From its strikingly similar pixelated art style to its three-person party system and seemingly copy-pasted combat mechanics, right down to its score, which even has some special tracks arranged by Yasunori Mitsuda, the brilliant mind behind Chrono Trigger's soundtrack. So let's get into the demo, right? First off, the demo has a nice and easy to follow tutorial presentation. When you start the game, you're given the option to select the party leader, each with a distinct power. You can choose Zale or you can choose Valir. Who you pick really doesn't matter, since you can swap out your party leader anytime at a campfire. Now, right from the get, you're thrown into an area where you'll quickly test out the battle system. And this is where you'll notice that it's heavily inspired by Chrono Trigger, while also incorporating other cool elements from games like Paper Mario, where you have timed attacks and where you hit the attack button at the right time, you hit twice as hard. If you press that same action button while being attacked, you can lessen the damage you receive. It's a nice touch that keeps you engaged in battle, right? Like keeps you on the edge of your seat, seeking to capitalize on any moment that can turn the tide in your favor or have you survive a devastating blow to still keep you in the fight. There was also this cool attack that Valir had, this lunar boomerang, and it was so cool how you kind of like have to press the X button, you got to time it right to keep the momentum of the attack going, which you're going to be pounding your fist if you just mess up at a time where you really need to get that off in succession. I also liked that the combat in the game was fairly challenging. There were times I couldn't keep a party member alive, which kept things tense, and I was worried that member that fell wouldn't receive any XP until I realized that the XP was shared between the party, meaning they all share the same level. Now, the demo does present an option to lessen the blow of the combat difficulty by restoring the party health after every battle, which I skipped because I actually welcomed the challenge. The one time I almost wiped out was during the boss battle of the demo. Two of my party members were down for the count, but I was pleasantly surprised when they got back into the fight after being down for like 2 or 3 turns. So whether that means Phoenix Downs or revival potions aren't needed in the game, I don't know, but for those looking to focus more on the story, be sure to enable the Amulet of Storytelling Relic. That's what gives you the restoration of health after every battle. And in a nutshell, I really enjoyed the combat. As for the story, the plot is very, very light in the demo. It's featherweight. There's no context, there's no opening intro, there's nothing really to hook you by the throat and not let go. And I believe that was intentional. There's spots in the demo that make it clear they're trying to keep things spoiler free, like you have inaccessible areas on purpose. Now, you are introduced to some cool and unique characters with a sprinkling of some pirate and mystical wayfaring themes, teasing more the mystery behind Sea of Stars storyline. I think it's cool that you can use a wind gust power during the dungeon crawling aspect of the game. It kept the puzzle solving elements fresh, and there were different level layouts within the first dungeon that had some unique concepts to it involving crystals that was cool. It makes it fun. I don't feel like there could be too many boring moments in this game. It would be awesome if different characters have like different usable powers during the dungeon exploration parts of the game to make things really interesting, allowing for more customization of your party. And I'm speculating a lot, but it's no secret that I'm definitely part of the target demographic of this game because of my love of Chrono Trigger. So with that said, is the demo worth it? If you grew up on 16-bit RPGs and love getting lost in these pixelated kingdoms looking for secrets like that shop under the deck for which I had no gold to buy those cool items, then yes, it's for you. Although the demo is very sparse on the story, I think it's because, again, they want to leave everything for the final product, hoping that the demo does enough to whet your appetite, which it did for me. I believe there's more than meets the eye with Sea of Stars, and after enjoying the demo, I'd most definitely be looking to plunk my time into this adventure when it releases. When does it release? I have no clue, but if any part of this game charmed you the way it did me, add it to your wish list now and try out the demo. You'll be glad you did. Hope you all have an outstanding day. Till the next one, yours in gaming. This is Gilly. Geek out.